are you guys? Is this working? Yes, it is. Hi. Can you see me? Okay, so we have 30 minutes, so we have to make it quick. I prepped already, not prepped, I've created a whole look already on Nicole's eye. And we're gonna start like in 2 seconds with the whole step-by-step demo of this look using the new Metropolis palette. Yes. Okay, so before I'm going to talk a little bit about this baby, I want to say thank you to Sephora for creating and organizing this crazy event, which is, I think, the most amazing experience, makeup experience. Once a year we can all celebrate, feel like coming together and connect. You know, it's not only in the stores or online, it's just a real meeting in person from all edges, from the clients and the founders and Sephora itself. So I think it's amazing. So thank you, Sephora, for this. It's so good. Okay, so Metropolis actually, you know, it's this kind of anniversary idea because 5 years ago I've launched these huge 28 eyeshadow palettes. Do you remember these? They started everything actually, and I must tell you that it was really funny how everything started. I made these palettes, the 28 large ones, for you know, my students, and I thought about all these types of different undertones and shades together in one palette, so it will be really easy for makeup artists to use them. And I've also done a couple of small ones, you know, the 5-pan palettes in the same shades, so it would be really easy for everybody to use. And then I thought little, you know, like small-brained. I was like, I didn't think about what will happen. So some YouTubers were really in love with them and asked me for, do you have a little bit more of these 5 eyeshadow palettes? So I thought I will send the 28s because it's really more comfortable for them. They won't have like 13 pieces of the 5 palettes, so I sent them the 2 28s. It was, I think it was Desi, Nikki Tutorials, right? They were the first ones. And then what did Nikki did? What she did actually was doing a video showing the 28 palettes. I was like, oh my God, what did she do? And then people were crazy. So everything exploded. Okay, anyways, the 28s are my iconic classic large palettes. And this happened 5 years ago. And now I wanted to do a limited edition, another 28, but I wanted it to be very approachable and simply, you know, just for simple and wearable and easy to use concept. So I made this one 28, but smaller. And yeah, the pan size looks like the Sunrise palette. It's like the meaty size, but the quantity is like the minis because the price point had to be really approachable. So it's like the 15 large palettes, but in 28 shades. Okay, so it's like, I think, yeah. And the concept was actually, I felt like I wanted to do metals, rusticy shades, and I'm very inspired by the kind of industrial era, or before, no, sorry, after the industrial era of New York. In the beginning of the 20th century, you know, this, you know, the 20s and the 30s, they were like Art Deco style, Gatsby, you know, like Charleston a little bit. So all these like rusty bronzes, but not really warm bronzes, like really rusty, and muted greens and browns. So I'm wearing the greens of the palettes today. So it's really important to use a certain type of formula as an eyeshadow base because to get out pigments, it's not just having a great eyeshadow. You have to know how to use it. And pigments and the formulas of my eyeshadows, I mean, everything is really related formula to formula, which means when you use like kind of a highlighter in powder form, I always teach to use a cream highlighter first because then the powder highlighter sticks to it much better and it looks more natural, it looks more flawless, and it beams much nicer, it doesn't look so glittery. and flaky, it just looks a part of your skin. So the same thing I'm also saying for eyeshadows. To achieve like the full pigment and the softness when you blend them, you need a good base. Now, if you use a dry base, like when it's super dry, I feel like I put a ton of powder and then it just disconnects the eyeshadow from the lid. You know what I mean? So, but also when you use something that is too dewy, too wet, then the pigment is too deep, it looks like a stain, and then you cannot blend it anymore. So it's kind of an in-between dewy matte, semi-matte kind of formula. So it was really important for me to create an eyeshadow base that is perfect for my eyeshadows, at least for mine. So, so this is the one. You can see it's a little bit shiny, it's like creamy. And it sets also, it's not too dewy and not too matte. When I started doing this look, I started off with doing something super wearable, and then I was like, that's boring, right? I was like, let's do something. So I elongated it. So we can try to do first the kind of wearable style and then pulling it outwards, okay? Okay, so the first step, I hope I will remember everything I did. Yeah, I will take kind of a, do we have number 12? This is like a dense brush. So I'm actually, what I didn't tell you yet, I have featured a new cream powder formula in this palette because I felt like I wanted to do something. I'm always like into innovation and breaking my boundaries all the time. Sometimes it's a little bit risky, but I mean, it's just my personality. I always have to try to do new stuff. And I love this one, really. It's like a little bit kind of waxy. It's not really wet, it's creamy. Look, it's like really super creamy, and you can blend and blend and blend it. It has no fallout. So it's kind of, what? Oh, yeah. You can apply with finger and also with brushes. So I'll take my brush. I don't remember which one. This one I've used first. You know, I don't remember the names. True. I'm like this. Who was attending my masterclass last year? I was like, I had a total blackout. I never remembered any name. So excuse me. It's not that I'm not involved. I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm even most of the names. It's me. So. But all makeup artists have a problem with remembering names. I think because all the clientele, so many people every day meetings, so you don't remember names anymore. Okay, so I'm pressing this onto the outer third of the lid. And then kind of, you can blend it in and up. You don't need another shade for blending this formula out. Okay, I forgot also to tell you this is limited edition, so it's really important to know. Okay, and then I'm going to drag this a little bit more into the crease, which is many times is what I do. But then, now I'm gonna blend, thank you, taking a fluffier brush with, yeah, it was this one, I think. It's lethal. I mean, it's 28 names. 28 babies. How do parents with so many kids can remember their names? I think that's impossible. They sometimes forget them at the airport. Yeah, I've heard stories. But here you can't forget any eyeshadow at the airport because it's together in one palette, so it's really convenient. Okay. This is like a venom green, poison green. I don't know how venom looks like. Sometimes green, sometimes black. Okay. Just swirling around. You know that This is something that I like to do reversely, if I can say that. You know, my English is sometimes not so wow. But I see all the time starting, and I also do that in YouTube videos many times. I'm starting out with transition shades, and then I'm going into deeper shades. But I must tell you the truth, when I do makeup on someone, on a client, or if you do it to yourself, when I'm doing on myself too, it's the same thing. I always like to see the dark, I'm starting with the darker shades that are closer to the lash line, because these are the ones that are popping up and opening up the eyes. And when the darker shades come exactly up to the fold when your eyes are open, then it makes the eyes look small. So what you have to notice, you have to make sure that when you open up the eyes and you use the first darker shade, you have to pass the fold and then blend it above the fold. This will always lift your eyelid, especially that's a great technique for hooded eyes. That's the best technique for hooded eyes. It will just really open up the eyes. Okay, just checking that I'm kind of okay. This is kind of going, this is a soft blend and a soft structure, pretty round, not so elongating. This is kind of like the more wearable style. And then I'm going into this lovely rhizome. This is a regular pressed powder matte eyeshadow. Regular, I mean pressed powder. Still special. With I'm going with this one, only blending it into the inner crease, just to make it a little bit different, you know, like more modern. Okay. Can I just check? Yes, symmetry? Okay. You see that I'm always using these round motions. I'm like sticking and patting the pigment onto the skin, but at the same time always blending it. So then you are not in a danger that you're like sticking the pigment too much and then you have to start to blend it out. Just while you're putting it and pressing it onto the skin at the same time, always work. Because these are so pigmented, you don't have to pack them too much. You can just straight go on and blend it into the skin. Now I'm taking Rope, and I'm using this shade to blend the greens. This is kind of more a transition shade, but a little bit yellowish undertoned. Guys, you can ask me questions while we're working here, if it's really related to what I'm doing right now. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose myself.
We have mics too, so if anyone has a question that they want to ask Natasha, we'd be more than happy to pass it off to you. So we'll start on this side.
Hi, my name is Alexandra, and you are such an inspiration to me. I just want to say, actually, my question to you would be, what is your all-time favorite shade? If you could, like, only do an all-over look, there's not one single color that you would, like, cover your entire eye with?
Oh, this one. This is exactly what I told you before. It's not my all-time favorite shade. Okay, don't exaggerate. It's just each time when I have a new palette, that's my favorite one. And when I'm doing makeup on clients, just for you, that's the favorite shade, and for you is another one. So it's kind of, you know,
universal,
individual. But when I created this formula in the lab, and I had this shade on my eye, this crazy
Stunning.
Deep teal thing here, I had it all over my eye. The lab thing. The whole day I was from here to there up until my hairline, and they were like looking, the chemists were like, what is that? I was like, I don't care. And I've used only this shade. It was so well blended because of, you see, it's like the pigment moves with the formula so evenly. It's so good. It's so good also for non-professionals because of that, you know? That's always my thing of thinking if it's gonna be great and very impactful, but at the same time, always easy to use. I mean, also everyday people, I mean, everyone wants to enjoy looks. Many of us, I mean, not everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, this is, I should have symbol. Okay. But no, there is no really one shade that is like my all-time favorite. It's impossible. Okay, I will pick up now a metallic Shield, it's its name. It's a classic metallic eyeshadow. I'm pressing this onto the center lid.
Excuse me, Natasha, you have a question.
Yeah.
Natasha, as an older beauty consumer, I'm just wondering, what is a good beauty philosophy? I mean, I try to be fearless and try new things. What's your philosophy?
Philosophy? I think that for yourself, you're asking me for yourself, right? No, I can't see you. I mean, these lights are so strong. It's like someone there. I'm always about knowing what's good on you for you. What you feel comfortable with and what is really complimenting you. It's about colors, but also the styles and the structure. It's like 3 different elements that I always consider. And then trying out new things is about colors and textures. Yeah, this is like more my philosophy for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always like, I love my certain style of eye makeup, and I always change colors. And sometimes I do like more natural makeup, but I'm a little bit bored with that, but I don't have the time always. But it's always about feeling comfortable with it and doing something that you feel, when you do something that is, when you try out something new and it's not good on you, like kind of, it's not for your personality and you will feel strange with it, people will see that. And you will also not feel confident, it won't look good. So you always have to be true to yourself when you wear something, you try it out. Even if you're like not really sure about it, wait a couple of minutes, look again. And if then still it doesn't feel good, take it off. You know what I mean? But if you get used to it after a couple of minutes and you feel like more comfortable with it, it's a good thing. I hope this helped a little bit. This is what I do with myself and with clients. Okay. So what was the next one? We had Orium. Oh, Orium.
We have a question in the back too, Natasha.
Yes. Just a second, I'm sorry.
I have 2 if you don't mind.
Just a second. This is Orium. We're pressing this into the inner corner. You can also use, damp brushes to press sparkling metallic eyeshadows onto the lid, but when you have a lot of space like Nicole's, so you can just use a finger. What do you do with long fingernails? Just brushes, right? Okay. Yeah, question?
Oh, okay. What's your favorite eyeshadow brush, like that you can use for everything? And what eyeshadow primer do you use?
What eyeshadow primer? My eyeshadow base. This is the one that I was talking about in the beginning. It's just called eyeshadow base, but with my name on it. And the brush I love to use, I know, you don't need all of this, but for every single different type of blending and the area where I'm blending, I have a different type and shape of brush. Even the hairs are different. So it's super professional. But for yourself, like if I will try to gather everything into 1 or 2, I think I would choose Number 9, something like a little bit dense but still fluffy, so you can also press the pigment onto the lid, the eyeshadows, and also blend it. This will really help, but you need another one, a small one for the lash line. Okay, so it's 2, not 1. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah?
When you're building a more colorful look, how do you start your color story and know where to go from there?
Again?
When you're building a more colorful look, where do you start with the color story?
Okay. You think about the colorful one in the whole look. I mean, which color is the main one that you want to show, and then add the ones that go well with the dominant color. Okay? I think that's like pretty logical. Okay. I think that you shouldn't use too many colors at once. For a wearable look, I would choose one really dominant, colorful color, and then the others just to complement the star of the show. Okay, I'm going in with a deeper shade and a small brush. I'm going in with Royal. It's also this, it's the one that I swatched first. It's a forest green in the new cream formula, and I'm going, look how easily this just goes on. And you know what's great with this formula as well? That you can layer. So I'm going a little bit up until the crease. You know, usually I don't like to combine cool-toned and warm-toned shades, but these kind of work together, even though this is a little bit more warm because it's more bright, and these are more muted, and they work well together. Sometimes it works.
Hi, Natasha.
Yeah?
I have a question, obviously. What words of wisdom can you share with us who are in the industry for a million years or just starting in the industry like babies? What words of wisdom can you share with us for people who've been in the world in the beauty industry for a long, long time, and those who are like aspiring to be in the beauty industry?
Okay. For the ones with a million years, I don't know. I'm just like 23 years. And so for the ones with a million years, I will ask them what they can tell me about it. What would I say to them? I mean, it works probably what they're doing if they're so long, like working in the industry. It's great. It's really individual what I would tell them. It depends in what kind of position they are. But I'm telling you, if they're working for so many years and they're working, it's good. It's a good sign. And if they're happy, it's even better. So I don't really know what to tell them. Just be happy? No, really, I don't know. But for the new guys, I have a lot to say. Yeah. Be professional, which means that always listen, and when they approach talking, when they speak to a client before they start their makeup, it's really important to understand what they feel comfortable with, what they would like kind of, how they see themselves in a certain look. Now, many of them, they don't know really what they want. So you can just try, what I do usually, I ask clients, for example, what they usually wear every day, and then I kind of understand what they are into, and then I know how much I can go and push them into a certain direction of a look. So listening to clients is really important, especially when they're not happy, if something happens and they're not quite okay with how they look like. Never try to convince. Always listen and make them feel comfortable. Change and listen what they want. It happened to me also, it's normal. So I'm asking, okay, what don't you like? And I'm really listening and I'm correcting and I'm trying to understand what she wants. So that's one thing. No ego, okay? That's part of it. Like, it's not good to be like, I know what's good for you, I'm a pro. No. Just be very natural, normal, you know, and not a diva. And come on time, that's also pretty important. Come with really clean tools to your client, okay? Don't show on your products that you're working. Just show your skills on the client. Everything has to be perfect. It sounds strange, but it happens. I can see sometimes kids that are just from, I used to work as a model, you know what type of stuff they put on my face? It was horrible. So this, and yeah, be kind, you know? Yeah, no, really, it's important. And always study, always learn, always listen. Listen is really, really, really important. Don't think you know it all. You can never know everything. Okay, so I'm going in with another, a little bit more fluffier, like flat, fluffy brush. I'm using now Lethal, just for blending this a little bit more. Just a really kind of bright green blend. Sorry. Okay, this for me is kind of the more wearable look with these colors. Now I'm going in. This is the part where I was like kind of a little bit bored. It's okay. It's like fine for, I mean, this is very colorful for every day. But, you know, if you want to be super modern, I'm going in with this deep teal, this guy here. And look up, please, for me. Starting out on the lower lash line. Really thick. And you know what makes it more wearable when you want to exaggerate with these types of looks? You just don't go up in a very harsh angle and high angle. You go more straight. And this will look much more kind of wearable. You see this angle? It's really flat. And then, when you went out a little bit, then you just go up in a diagonal line and connect to the crease and to the lash line, like this. And then when you have already blended the crease and you want to give a little bit more depth to the crease, that's really beautiful to do it, and then gives you this type of kind of twiggy 60s mod look. Okay, blending it a little bit out. Again.
Natasha, is there anyone ever that you have considered kind of like a beauty mentor? And if so, what was the best advice they ever gave you or the best thing they ever taught you?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Sorry.
This is your question.
And if it's yourself, that's cool too.
No. I must tell you that when I started out, there were many like I know her until today. It was Mariah Carey's first makeup artist. And she was like the mature makeup artist, and I was like young and just started out. And I was always like super precise, and I did everything like by millimeter. I don't know. Millimeter is from Europe. So everything is like, I'm like hours correcting and blending and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, just move on, you know? I must tell you that this was not really helpful because this is what I can remember for someone that I was looking up to, and I was a little bit shocked. because, I mean, I was on the other edge. She was really quick, and I was very slow. I started working, and then every client took me like almost 2 hours. It's too much. Yes, I know. I mean, I understand why she told me that now, when I think about that. But I do, something else, a tip that you really give yourself time. You don't have to rush. I think the client really has to feel that you do everything to make it perfect. And just don't let them feel that they're just another client. Never ever do that. When I work with clients, they always, and I also feel that really, that they're kind of my first client. That's the same energy I put into every single person. This is super important. Never ever feel like you're above someone. Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
on that note,
I'm going
Natasha,
in
you have
again.
about 5 minutes.
I have 1 minute.
No, five.
Oh, okay, that's fine. For the lower lash line, I need a wet one, please.
Do you want this one?
Which one? Just the wet one, please. I just want to check symmetry. Okay, I'm dragging this a little bit more out. I don't see the other side, so I'm sorry. You see, when you want to exaggerate and elongate, you just drag it out and then connect it. Okay, just a second. I'm just want to blend this a little bit more. I mean, I can do makeup on someone in 20 minutes, but I don't like to work like this. I like taking my time to see that everything's perfect. But it happens sometimes when they're late or their hairstylist is late, you know? Yeah. Okay, so I am taking now Queen. I knew her name. Just a dot of highlight on the center brow bone. And then blending. You see how many brushes I'm changing all the time? So for me, like using one brush is quite impossible. Okay, lower lash line. For the lower lash line, I like to use some setting spray or something because it's really hard, you know, when you have metallics, crystals and pearls in your eyeshadow, and you're trying to stick this onto the lower lash line, which is not a lot of space, it's a thin line. So it's better to press this onto the lower lash line. So I'm using a setting spray and then dipping into the eyeshadow. Yeah, there's some there picking up the eyeshadow, using the setting spray onto the eyeshadow. It's fine, it doesn't matter. Okay, just a second. Good. So what I have used there is Penny. This one. You see that? Okay, look up for me. I'm pressing this onto the inner corner. I don't know if it reflects the light. A little bit of more spray. And okay, and then this teal metallic shade to connect both shades. I always like to use kind of connecting shades in between darker and lighter shades. The transition always looks much more beautiful and soft. So a little bit of fallout, not really a big deal. Okay, it's slightly different. I have to go in with the dark shades a little bit more, just to make it a little bit the same like the first side. Okay. Good. So I will use now a little bit of Foundation X just, or concealer, whatever. You don't need concealers. Look. That's amazing.
This is the foundation. This is down already.
Yeah, thanks. Foundation X Plus. Do you know the foundation? X Plus? Yeah?
What is it?
The foundation?
Yeah, what is it?
It's, oh, Allison. Foundation X Plus, it's like a medium, almost full coverage foundation that gives a beautiful, dewy, radiant finish. And it sets, and it's super long wearing, and it's kind of skincare in a foundation. Yes, you have to try it. It doesn't set into fine lines. It's amazing for mature skin as well. Yes. I love it under my eyes.
Is this the Natasha Denona foundation or is this?
Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. Wasn't that clear that I'm using my stuff? Okay. I'm an artist. I'm not good in marketing. Okay. You have to try it out. It's called Foundation X Plus. Oh, good. You're so shiny. That's so beautiful. It's gonna be great for you. You'll love it. What are you wearing now?
I love that.
Beautiful. Okay. Go, please. Okay, Kat, can you go on and do her lashes, please? Well, it's not exactly the same height, but forgive me. Thank you. Do we have, oh, do you want to see that on the cheeks? The glow gold? Okay, that's dual highlighter in a gold version. I was like thinking about something golden for the cheeks to, you know, like to continue the gold. You know, the mini gold is the baby of the large gold palette, and then something cheeky for this collection. I thought about doing this. This is the Super Glow formula, which is really, really milled, crushed milled crystals with pearls together, and the diamond powder in gold, which is very subtle, gives this sparkling effect. It looks kind of wet on the skin. Okay, but first, I mean, most of you, I think, know that I always use cream highlighters first, just to have kind of a dewy base for all the powder highlighters. This is really, really important. So our highlighters won't look dry on the skin and flaky. Yep. Okay. And now, using my finger, just to tap this onto the cheekbone. Now, this is really special and unique. It's not like for every day, of course. But, hello. And then, do you see it? Oh yeah, good. Okay. Oh, you know what? On the other side, I'll use this sparkling one, the diamond powder. Okay, let's go like this. Do you see it now better? It's like in.
We got her Tika at every angle right now. I
Oh.
don't know what you are doing with this product, but it's so beautiful. So
How do you feel taking all my money, Natasha?
I'm not thinking about this. People are saying you're wasting time. I'm like not reading. Okay. Thank you. So that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ted.